Okay, so like me, you are absolutely tired of your Mini's OEM radio. You're tired of figuring out where to mount your phone, even though they make good phone mounts. You're tired of wanting to integrate Bluetooth to it easily, and you're on the market looking for something and you stumble across Apple CarPlay. I'm gonna show you how to make your Mini interior go from this to this. In this video, I'm going to show you how to install a fully integrated Apple CarPlay system into your Mini. The kit that I used is from ECS Tuning. Now, this video is an older video. The reason why I didn't put it out is because midway through, I was actually using an older phone and I lost almost all audio. When I downloaded the video to the computer and realized I had no audio, I set it aside. However, there's not very many videos about this head unit. So in this video, we're gonna go the unboxing, we're gonna go how to install it, and we're gonna do a 1-year review. We're gonna go everything I like and everything I dislike about this unit. So without further ado, we're gonna go back in time and watch the install video. All right, so we went with the ECS house brand Android wireless CarPlay. So here's what's inside the box. So you get instructions, really nicely packaged. A series of speakers, connectors, and everything you need to install. Looks like a GPS sensor. Some more wiring and adapters, USB. Some other wiring here, which looks like it is labeled corresponding to the instructions. Then the head unit here. So it feels relatively heavy duty. It's got a nice plastic finish to it, kind of matte, nice haptics. Feels pretty close to the OEM. These buttons kind of don't, but this does. Knob feels kind of nice. It's got your SD slot and your GPS slot if you want to run. I mean, it's Android CarPlay, but this is or Apple CarPlay, but this is an Android system, so you can run it strictly off of the Android operating software. It's got all your connectors in the back. Relatively light, not too crazy. Underneath it here, you have your CD receiver, like the OEM one. It's got the same finish, a decent button, built-in microphone, but this also has an external microphone setup. Plugs there, and as you can see here, it is a 2006-2013 Mini, 8-core, 4 gig, 64 gig, 4G plus 64 gig wireless CarPlay and Wi-Fi. So pretty nice setup. Now we will go to installing it in the car. Okay, so we're in the car, left-hand drive, as you can see. Depending on your drive model, it could vary, but it's gonna be a similar step. Now, this is gonna feel really, really intimidating at first because you're gonna have to remove quite a bit of stuff to get to the speed cluster radio unit assembly, but don't be afraid. It's not that complicated. We're gonna basically go through step by step by step to get this out. The first thing we're gonna do is up here, you're gonna see 2 little caps here and here, and we're gonna pop these off. Okay, so you guys are in the windshield facing down. The back of the car is this way, front of the car is that way. And as you can see right here and right here, there are 2 little plastic covers. So I'm gonna take a pry tool. I'm gonna pop this off here, like so. Pop this off like so here. Don't worry, it's gonna sound like it's breaking, but it's not. Right there. Like so. And like that. Like that. So these 2 pieces are gonna look like that. And we're gonna set them aside and getting access to the 2 torque. Okay, so here's a little better look. I realize now that there are glares, but as you can see right there, there is a Torx bit there, and the same on the other side over there. So what you're gonna do is take your long T25 Torx bit, preferably magnetic, but it doesn't have to be. And basically you're just gonna unscrew the 2 bits here. I used a magnet to get the bits out. Once you do that, this is kind of what they look like. 2 little self-tappers, and these are the caps. I like to put them in somewhere safe, so like get a little magnet bowl, put them out to the side, that way you don't lose them. After you do that, you're gonna wanna come inside and you're gonna wanna take your 2 trim panel accessories off. Certain minis have a glove box that's hidden like this one here, so you'll just have to pop it open instead of removing it. But you're going to take this little plastic cover here, you're going to pop it forward. They're a little pain to get out. You're going to kind of want to rotate them in this way, kind of like this, rotate them sideways and out. That's about the only way you can get them out without breaking them. But what that's going to let you do is get access to the 2 T25 bolts on this side. Now we're going to remove the left side. This is a bit of a pain. You're going to need to move the steering column kind of down and out as far as possible to give you the most room. The gauge pod kind of stays there, so it's a little bit of a pain. But basically, you're going to slowly work around the corners. This is going to sound like it's breaking, but it's not. Just slowly work around the corners, keep prying. It is not easy to get out. Basically, you're going to get your fingers behind here. Once you kind of like loosen it up with the pry tool, and you're going to pull pretty hard, and that's going to break it free. Once it's broken free, it is a bit of a challenge to get out, especially with this bracket that I have on the mounted on the back. But you'll kind of work it out, get it out of the way, and set it to the side. I kind of scratched mine up, so don't do what I did. So now you're going to take the T25, you're going to take these 2 out on the right side, and same with the 2 on the left side, and that's going to free up the cover that goes over the factory radio. Okay, so now that all these bolts are here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this bezel should remove from its device. There we go. You're going to pull this back, kind of rotate it around. And then here, you're going to see the hazard switch. So what you're going to do is just give that a nice little pull, like so. There we go. And then your bezel is now out, and would probably now be a good time for cleaning, which is what I'm going to do before I put it back in. Now that we got this done, we're going to have to remove this panel here. So there are, underneath, there are 3 T20 screws. So we will go ahead and remove those right now. After that, you're going to pull at the bottom, kind of work your fingers away around the edges here. Give a little pull, like so. In case you're wondering, this is what kind of the fasteners look like. At the top, there's little push pins, so you kind of grab around the edge of the steering column, you can pull them out. Now, the next step is this panel here, which is next to the center console. Same thing here. These are just pushed in with push pins. So we'll kind of reach our clip tool behind it like that, run it up and down, pull it out, like so. Okay, so now we're on the other side. This panel as well, we will drop the glove box. It's the same thing. It is basically clipped in. So depending on how this comes out, you might have to move the glove box down out of the way, but we will kind of fish in behind it like that. Pop them out like so. Pull the glove box down and fish out like that. Same thing. There are a few clips. These are push-in style retainers. There, the little triangle clips here, here, and here. And then there's little guide pins that you'll see slide in, and you just kind of slide it out. So now that all this is off and the side panel's off, you see that there are 1 screw here and another screw here. And then just like the same on the other side, there's 1 screw here, 1 screw here, and just like all the other ones, this is a T20. So we will unscrew both these screws and start taking this center radio assembly out. Okay, so now that those 4 screws are removed from both sides, we are going to take this center piece off here, which is a little plastic piece. So, boom, 2 clips, and that will give us access to a few T20 screws right here. All right, guys, so I lied. That is a T25, but we will get that unscrewed. Ooh, that is tight. Alrighty. And that T25 is a machine thread versus a self-tapping one. Okay, so next we have, oh, I got a hole. Next that we have all that loosened, we should be able to start pulling this assembly unit off. There we go. These are kind of pressure clipped in. As you see, this pressure clip stood behind and this one stood on. So there will be wires attached to this, but don't worry. We'll just kind of work it out past it. Okay, so now, if you're worried about the plastic being scratched, I would, put some tape on this or a cloth. But so now if you look back here, you will see that there are some connectors, and we're gonna have to unplug some of these connectors back here to kind of get this freed up a little bit. And basically all we want is enough access to allow us to slide this Mini Boost CD assembly out from the dash. All right, so I just wanted to take the whole thing off. I'm gonna wipe it down and clean it up anyways. So there we go. Now we have access to the Mini Boost assembly. Okay, so now at this point, we can start removing the Speedo cluster assembly / radio, but we're gonna have issues with these plastic pieces being in the way. So we are gonna loosen this bolt here, take it out, kind of pull it out of the way. Okay, that should give you enough room like that to get to this bolt, and we will do the same thing for my key system. Depending on what side drive you have, this will not be a key system. This will just be a little blank spot, but we will pull this off. All we're doing is trying to give us access or enough room to slide out the radio from the corners here. So you can see, it gives us a little room. Now we will start taking apart everything. There's going to be one screw here, one screw here, one here, and there's going to be one at the very top up there. Careful when pulling or prodding on the plastic panels. They are a little higher quality than most vehicles, but does not mean that they will not have the potential for breaking. All right, so now this whole unit should slide up and out of the way. Like so. Now that's off. You're gonna have a plug in the back side here. You're gonna take this plug off here, push down and remove, tilt it forward, kind of get your shifter out of the way, and then you're going to have your main bulk harness, which I don't know if you can see this right here. It folds forward like that, comes out, and then you're gonna have your antenna and GPS signal of some sort. So there's that, and there is, you can get that. All right, so now you have your old unit assembly off. All right, so I kind of cleaned up a little bit in this area. So now that we're here, we have the aftermarket head unit and the radio den in our hand. There is a handful of accessories that are a little bit overwhelming. I'm going to kind of explain what everything is and why we need it. So the first one you're going to see here, this is your chime speaker. This plays your signal sound, door chime, etc. We're just going to have to find a place to mount this somewhere nice. It's got double-sided tape, maybe in the center here somewhere, somewhere that you're going to be able to hear it do its thing. And then we have your typical, aux adapters, radio front signals and all that stuff here. Next, we have your microphone. I'm going to try to mount that in a factory location. I'm not going to really use it that much, but we're going to try to mount it so you don't see it. And then you have your USB connectors. You get 2 of them. Going to mount that in the glove box probably. And then you have your main power harness, brake, accessory, all that sort of stuff here, illumination. I don't think you need to hook up because it should be hooked up already, but I could be wrong. And then your main power wire that feeds your DIN DVD player to your head unit. The instructions here are pretty clear, so if you get confused, it kind of goes through exactly what you need to do. There is a GPS antenna option. I'm not going to use it because I'm going to be using Apple CarPlay and whatnot. So yeah, let's do that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my DEN harness or DVD, however you want to say it, to head unit. Plug that in here and plug that in here. There we go. So I'm going to feed this through the bottom here, underneath, kind of where the original harnesses ran. You'll see it through and up out the center like so, and call that good. Okay, so you're gonna see the pink here and the black. Do not freak out. We're gonna unfish this through it, and this black cable is going to attach to the display unit itself. So I'm going to fish this up like so. Give me a little more room here. I'm gonna pop it out on this side like that and call it good. Okay, so now that I kind of got this going here, before I do all that, I'm going to take the power harness here, which, by the way, these are capped off. They're pre-wired in. Do not worry about them. I'm going to take the power harness and I am going to plug it in corresponding with plug, and I'm going to lock it in place. You'll hear a nice click. So that will go probably, so I think the power is going to be out of this side. So I will kind of bring it up through here like so and leave it like that. Okay, so as for the microphone, as you can see up here, there's kind of this nice little factory spot that I want this to go. So I'm going to pull this down. That came off a lot easier than I thought. And I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to get it to mount in this area here. It's probably going to take some, running wires, running them all the way down here, and then, figuring out a way to get it into the dash. All right, so I kind of got it mounted right here, as you can see, tucked out of the way. I'm going to put the cover back on. Speakers here. It'll go into this existing little speaker port here. All right, so got the microphone ran from up there, kind of all the way around through here, whatever, it's in here now. So the next thing we're going to do is, now that I got everything kind of situated, the power cable management system is tucked away, we're going to install the bottom den here, like so. It's going to take some finagling to get everything out of the way nicely. You shouldn't have any resistance when you put this in. Go. Should fit very snugly, so just move this where you need to move it, and then take your 20 and screw it in like so. Just snug, doesn't need to be over tightened or anything, so don't go crazy. Shouldn't be struggling to get these in. They should go in pretty smoothly. And give it a little shake. As you can see, everything is good to go. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take my accessory harness and I'm going to plug it into the back of my head unit. So if you're looking at the head unit this way, the accessory harness goes in this bottom right here, like so. You should hear a nice click. Make sure it's in there. Do a little tug test. You don't want this to come loose later on down the road. Now I'm going to take my USB. I want to be able to rub this cable some more in the glove box, so let's get that sorted first before we plug this in. And we're going to plug that in to this accessory up here. Okay, so I got the microphone ran up here, ran the wires down here into the center. I have the USB cables. I kind of ran them through here, underneath here, out to the side here and there. This stays out of the way. It's clear. Doesn't interfere with the button. So that's here. The sound sensor, I don't know if you can see it right there. I'm going to get my flashlight so you guys can see it. Sound sensor was supposed to do all the chimes. I mounted right there, double-sided tape, and ran it and plugged it into the harness. And now the only thing we have to do left is hook up the display unit into here and get everything plugged in where it's supposed to be. Okay, so before we put this in, if I'm not mistaken, this pink wire here, it's an antenna wire, goes to the antenna in the back. And this black one goes to the antenna that's in the glass. So I'm going to try to hook this up to on the roof for better AM FM service and then go from there. But let's get this started and put together. So before we do anything, walk over here. Before we get started, what we want to do is obviously plug in the stuff. So I'm going to try to plug in the stuff that is the furthest away, I guess if you want to say. It gives me the most flexibility, and we're going to start with plugging in the two wires here into this side, this is the one that goes to the radio down here. So we're going to plug it in. It can only go in one way for a nice little click like that, and then a nice little click like so. So there's that. Now the radio power harness here has analog right here, left and right. So I'm going to kind of let this sit on my knee so it doesn't fall. So this white wire here will connect to this harness here that says auxiliary line in. And then the red wire goes into the one that says auxiliary line in. They're also paired together in their own harness so they don't get confused. And the other ones are also labeled like rear, front, and these are for like individual speakers, which we're not doing quite yet. So those two are plugged into there. Now we will plug in part of the USB cable harness, and that harness will go here, which this is the top side. So right here, same thing. Now we will plug in this main power harness here, which goes, it's going to be hard to see. Find here where this fuse is, it'll plug into here. So we'll plug that in. And then this top left corner here, this antenna or this Limbus connector will go into this plug here. This goes in one way and one way only. Last but not least, we're going to connect the pink connector to top left corner here. So it's going to be one of those things that the antenna connectors will have to be plugged in as the unit goes into the spot. And per every aftermarket radio ever, you have extra wiring that you got to figure out what to do with, that I hate so much. I found out that you cannot use the pink wire, you have to use the black wire. It only fits in there. And it is a bit of a pain to get plugged in, but it is doable. Okay, so once the head unit's kind of set in there, you're going to start screwing it back in with the torque bits at the bottom here, and basically snug everything up the same way it came off. You're going to want to put in your control panel in and all that same stuff, but it goes in the same exact order that it came back out. All right, like I said, I kind of lost audio through that, so this is a bit weird for an install video, but just like I said a few seconds ago, reverse order basically to put it back together. Now that you watch this whole thing, I'm actually going to go over the 3 things I love about this head unit and the 3 things I actually do not like about this head unit. And if you have this head unit, I want to know if you guys have similar issues or similar opinions about it. But these are kind of just my opinions and my little short review of this head unit. Okay, excuse my mess. I travel a lot, so I got a bunch of tools in here. The first thing I'm going to tell you that I do not like about this head unit, and it's just kind of personal, is no door chime. You don't have a door chime. Normally that doesn't start up that fast. It goes through a load up sequence. It'll say Android, but I had this car on earlier, so it loads up pretty quickly the second time. The second thing I do not like about this head unit is this sound. This sound is absolutely atrocious. There's really no way to change it. I've gone to the settings and tried to change the sound output. It's awful. It's annoying. It actually winds up having this weird cycle, and I'll let it sit here and kind of try to edit it, but it takes a while. But basically it'll click, 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 click. It'll click, 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 stop, and then reset itself and click again. The speed is not even close to what it is outside. Personally, it kind of drives me up the wall. And again, this is a personal opinion and it may not even bother you. The third thing, during the daytime, you can't see any of this. All this is extremely hard to see. It's a glare. This gets in your face and like reflects light right back at you. It's kind of annoying, and just it's kind of a big pet peeve that I'm constantly like, oh, do I have a check engine light? I mean, if you drive a Mini, you're gonna have a check engine light, but I'm constantly just kind of like putting my hand over that, and it's kind of annoying. Another thing I don't like, and maybe this is just my vehicle in particular, is once I put this in my volume control, it stopped working. So it could be a coincidence, it could not be. I'm not quite sure if that was just my car or something to do with the head unit. This is actually technically my second head unit. I installed this, and the very first time within probably a week, I was using this signal like that, of course, the most obnoxious noise ever. And as I was at a light, the speaker screamed. I mean, it was probably the loudest thing I've ever heard. And all of a sudden, no audio was coming out of this head unit. I didn't have any signal light audio, or like the haptics, basically my left and right. That audio completely stopped working. My volume control stopped working. It just shit out. All this still functioned like it needed to, but everything else stopped. So ECS sent me a second head unit out. Ever since then, I haven't really had a problem. It functions like it should, and haven't had an issue since. Another thing that I've had happen with this head unit is it'll randomly freeze. It won't connect to your phone, and you have to do this weird like press and hold the nav and the power button to do an Android boot up sequence to reset the head unit, and then it works after that. And probably the last thing I have to say about this head unit that I don't actually like is the cruise control. Now, what happened is when you go to set the cruise control, you'll notice this on this, and I should have done a driving video with this, but basically your cruise control, let's say you're doing 70 miles an hour, or 60. Say you're doing 60, and you go to hit your cruise control. It no longer displays cruise set at mile per hour. What it does is it says cruise set at kilometers per hour. So basically, if you're cruising at 70, it'll say like you're set the cruise to about 113 or 114 kilometers an hour. And that's just how it is now. Whatever programmed in the head unit causes the mile per hour gauge under cruise control only to now show kilometers an hour. But now we'll go on to the things that I like. The fact is, this is a wireless CarPlay system. Right now, I think it's running slow because it's trying to connect my phone while I do audio stuff. But this is a wireless CarPlay system. Wow, I am hauling ass apparently. The sound quality, like any other head unit, did increase, so it does sound a lot better. Another thing is too, you do have a built-in navigation system. For whatever reason, if you don't have connection, this does have its own GPS, and it works relatively well. It'll tell you the speed and stuff like that. You got to go into the settings, but it does work well. And you do have a built-in mile per hour that's satellite based. So even though you lose the cluster, you know, the old speedometer style, you still kind of have at least a digital one, and it is relatively accurate. I've tested it compared to the, you know, the built-in one and the GPS on my phone. But everything else, you know, see, this is how seamless it is when it's not connected to the CarPlay. It's relatively seamless. The music sounds good. I'd go to radio here. Hopefully
Weekend at the K. Mountains up.
It does sound good. But other than that, it's your typical Apple CarPlay head unit with a bunch of features. I have used YouTube on here. That does work pretty well. It does have Wi-Fi, so you can connect to the internet and do updates and stuff like that. You got your Play Store. It does have the option for reverse cam, which I do have installed on this one. These lines do move with the steering wheel when the car is on, so that's kind of a neat feature. But yeah, all in all, it is a relatively decent head unit. I'm not going to say it's the top quality head unit out there, but for a seamless integrated Apple CarPlay system that kind of replaces the factory cluster and everything, it is a pretty decent system. I'm still kind of a fan of the old kind of, I'm still kind of the fan of the head unit that has the little speedometer built around it, but you lose screen size with that. So you kind of got to pick your battles. All in all, I kind of rate this head unit. If I were to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably rate it on like a 7. It does have its quirks. It does do weird things every once in a while. It'll randomly beep, and it does do noises that you can't explain. There's not like a check engine light or anything. It just makes random noises, and you kind of lose the whole Mini sound, which kind of is unique to Mini, which is kind of sad. But I mean, I guess if you kind of wanted to sound like a generic BMW, then this is the head unit for you. I would recommend it to someone else who wants an Apple CarPlay upgrade. I won't tell anybody to steer away from it. I've had it over a year, and since the second one, I've never had an issue with it at all. It's pretty seamless, minus the few hiccups. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, as far as these in-depth installs, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, all the fun YouTube stuff. Really appreciate it. If you had another head unit that you have installed in your car, let me know, because I'd like to take a look at it, because I would always be interested in adding it to this Mini back here. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking out through this whole video. Thank you for the 60 plus subscribers that subscribed recently. That's crazy. And I kind of hope to keep this going. But like I said, guys, appreciate all the support, and I will see you when I see you eventually at the track or at a car show. Or just whenever. Later, guys.